Hello friends, it's your art teacher, Ms. Barnett. And in this week's lesson called A Quiet Place for Quiet Times, we are going to be making a 3D model of a quiet outdoor space where people can sit, walk, relax, and think. We will apply what we've learned in our last two lessons about shapes and lines as well as texture. We are going to be working as landscape architects. A landscape architect is someone who designs an outdoor space. It's a very cool art job. And we're going to be inspired by Japanese gardens. On the board I have a variety of Japanese Zen gardens that you can look at. Of course, if you want to look at these, you can do a Google search for Japanese Zen gardens and you can get lots of inspiration. So what we're going to need today is a cookie sheet, some sand, and a variety of plants and twigs, as well as some rocks. I just went on a nature walk around school and gathered some materials. If you have time between watching this lesson and creating this project, I would encourage you to do a nature walk around your house and bring in some materials from your yard or from different plants that you might be inspired by. We're going to be working in an asymmetrical balance sort of way, so that means remember, symmetry is if we drew an imaginary line down the middle of an object, both sides are the same, like our faces. We're going to be doing an asymmetrical design, which means that the two halves are not the same. So we're going to be creating irregular groupings of stones. We're going to also need a fork to add some patterns to our sand. Before we begin, I want you to think about answering these questions in your brain. Is there a vacant lawn or other space you want to show? So think about, is there a space that you already have in mind that you would like to redesign as a landscape architect? Do you like the way it looks now, or do you want to show a new plan for your space? What materials will you need for your model? And where can you find them? I found my stuff around campus on the playground, off of the trees and shrubs, and then I had some rocks in the room that I had used for another project that I'm going to reuse here. And let's see, if you want, you can sketch your design and then use the materials to experiment with different compositions. Remember, you should have an asymmetrical design, meaning the two halves are not the same. So I'm going to show you how I'm going to build my Japanese Zen garden, and you can watch. We are not going to keep these. So when you are done today, we're going to get out the camera and take a photo to record our artwork. So it's not going to be a permanent artwork. Let's get started. I wanted to give you some more information about these Japanese gardens. Japanese Zen gardens have large rocks and bushes arranged in irregular groups. The ground is usually covered by small pebbles raked into patterns that suggest ocean waves, running water, or clouds. So think about that as you begin doing your work today, and I'll show you how I'm going to make mine. Let's get started. All right, so the first step in our project, friends, is I'm going to put some sand in this tray, this cookie sheet. I'm going to transfer it over with the cup. That way I have control and I'm not spilling. And I'm very carefully pouring it into my cookie sheet. We can use our hands to spread it around. We don't want it to the tippy top. We want to have room to work. Let's add some more. This is very pleasing to the touch, I have to say. It's very relaxing to move the sand around. Good. Now that we have the sand base down, we're going to start thinking about how we're going to design our garden. So maybe I want to start with some plants. You can add some rocks or some bark. We could think about creating pathways, areas for people to sit. It's really your imagination that's creating this garden, so don't be afraid to go a little wild. But remember, this is a quiet place for quiet folks to think and walk. We might want to create some pathways for people to walk through. This is very relaxing, friends. I hope you have just as much fun creating as I am today. There we go. Now that I've created my asymmetrical pattern, I'm going to use my fork and I'm going to create some waves like a Zen garden. So you can watch me do that. So now that I've done the basics, let's take a moment and think about what we've done. Have you used a variety of materials and real textures? I have. Have I unified the garden with lines and other elements? I think so. And have I created an asymmetrical design? Well, let's pretend like we've halved this. Yes, it's not the same on either side, so that's good. Now, imagine that a person is entering your small garden space. Does it need a path? Well, I've gone ahead and created a path. Have you provided a place to sit and reflect on nature's beauty? Yes, we have these rocks. Maybe I'll move this over so someone can reach the rocks over here. So people could sit on the rocks or sit under the plants for some meditation time, some reflection time. And do I need to add any other elements to our garden path? I don't think so. So the next thing we're going to do is we'll get out the camera and take a photo, and I can help you with that when you're done. And I think this turned out really great. I can't wait to see how your Zen gardens turn out. Let's get started making.